Welcome to the Troubled Artists Podcast, Episode 37, Dani Ferreira.
Welcome back to the Troubled Artists Podcast. Today I am here with actress Dani Ferreira. Dani Ferreira was born in Costa Rica and raised in Mexico, fluent in both Spanish and English. Dani has been able to work on projects in both Mexico and the United States. And in addition to her work as an actress, she has been trained in Brazilian jiu-jitsu for over 14 years. So Dani, thank you so much for being on the show. So before we begin, I do like to ask this one question. Tell us in your own words, who is Dani Ferreira?
Wow. Thank you so much for having me. That's a really good intro. Well, hello. My name is Dani Ferreira, and pretty much what you said. I'm an actress. I've been acting since, I think, 2021, a little bit right after COVID. Yes, I am a black belt in jiu-jitsu. That's my side job. I've been doing it for 14, 15 years. But my main focus is acting. I love acting. I love movies. I'm really focused in film currently. I studied acting for film and theater, and I got my associate's degree for that. And then I transferred to Arizona State University, where I graduated on my bachelor's degree for film and media studies. But I did that bachelor's online so I could focus on acting, because I always thought, maybe if I get a project or I have to travel somewhere, I can do it freely while still being in school and not worrying about having to be in class or something. So I did that online, and it actually really worked. And I got to focus a lot on my work as an actor and just audition a lot more. But yeah, I was born in Costa Rica, like you said, grew up in Mexico. I'm currently in Texas, thinking of relocating to LA soon. So pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah, that's wonderful to hear, and I'm excited to get into that. But before we go into that stuff, I'm just curious to know, just like how did you get into acting in the first place? Was it something you discovered early in life or later on in life? Just kind of tell us about that.
It was never something that I discovered from a young age. I always hear actors say, yeah, I knew it. Like, ever since I was young, I was going to theater. Like, that was not me at all. When I was younger, I wanted to be a chef because my dad is really good at cooking. So I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And then when I moved here to Texas, I was like 16. And I took my first cooking class in high school. Because you know how they pressure you in high school to, like, take endorsements like classes and find whatever you want to do for college. And so I got into my first cooking class and I hated it. Like, I was like, oh, it was a big realization of, oh, maybe I don't want to do this. Now what? And at that same time, I was starting to watch a lot of movies and shows. And obviously I grew up like watching the typical childhood movies that you'd watch, and I grew up with that. But it was never something that hit me emotionally as a kid. It was just more for like entertainment. And when I moved to the US, that was a really hard transition in my life. And I think I found a big connection with movies just because I could feel connected with the actors, the characters, the stories that I was watching. Like, for the first time, I felt like movies weren't just entertainment and that I was connecting with them in a deeper level. And so at that same time, where I was like, well, what can I try in high school that maybe I could study? I was watching a lot of movies and being really inspired and just researching a lot about the process of filmmaking. And so I took my first theater class when I was in my junior year of high school, I believe. And it was more like high school theater, but here and then we would have acting exercises. And I remember I would be really excited for those days, like waiting for the day to have an acting exercise in that theater class. And then I would look around and everybody was just like, oh, like, I don't want to do this. And I'm like, okay, why? Like, this is the fun part. So I knew it was something that I was really interested in. And from then on, I know senior year hit, and that's when I started to actually want to be in theater productions maybe for high school, but then COVID hit, so I didn't have the opportunity. But it was still in my mind, like, yeah, I want to act. This is what I want to do. And obviously with COVID having so much time, I kept on watching a lot of films and just a lot of research on other actors and directors and feeling very inspired by that. And then when COVID got a little bit less, we could start going out and stuff, I started to take acting classes outside of high school, more tailored towards film. And I fell in love with it. I've been doing it ever since, training ever since. And yeah, I love it. It's my favorite thing in the world. I think as actors, it's really normal to like feel stuck because a lot of it is out of your control when it comes to auditions and booking things, and when you have a job and when you don't. But I think the cool thing is you can always find creative outlets to feel creative, whether you're an actor or a director or just somebody else in whatever area you are in filmmaking. I think that's the cool part because it's art. There's always something that you can grab onto, even if it's just watching a film. I think that for me, like, fulfills me creatively a lot. And so that's what I keep on doing whenever I'm not booking things or I'm just waiting for auditions or whatever. I think it's good, and it's just, I think in filmmaking, really normal to feel stuck at times. But I think if you find those outlets, I think it's pretty cool because you can keep on creating, if that makes sense. Even though maybe you might not have a job at that specific moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's always good to keep yourself like just creative in general, whether it's like watching films or even trying to make films or just whatever your creative passion is, especially during like those down times, like you said, with like hearing back from auditions or just hearing like a review for something, so it's always good just to keep ourselves like busy, like so that we're not in this like sort of creative slump. And like I mean those times will,
Definitely.
yeah, I mean those times will hit us. We can't all be creative 24/7, like there's going to be our
Yeah.
ups and downs and stuff like that. So it's really great just to like keep ourselves like engaged with our passion, so yeah, I think that is really nice.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm just curious to know just like your acting style. So let's say that you get a script and you really like it and you want to be a part of this film. What is your preparation when it comes to getting into a character?
Ooh, very good question. I think it's been different for each project that I do. And I think a big part of it is because right now, I've been doing it for a few years now, but I still feel fairly new to the industry in a sense of I can still try new things, and see if something works or it doesn't. And I guess that just keeps on going as your career advances. But I think something that I really love to do is journaling. I'm a very like organized person and I love my markers and my pens and like writing and researching a lot. Like for the last film I shot like 3 weeks ago, Julia, I bought like a little journal, and I did a lot of research on other films, and I love to watch actors talk about their process, and I try to find films that can relate to whatever I'm filming at that time. And so, for example, for Julia, I don't know if you've watched it, but I watched Sentimental Value, which was nominated for an Oscar, for a few Oscars.
Yeah.
And that, yeah, that script is a lot about sisters, family dynamics, not knowing yourself, trying to find yourself again. Very connected to Julia, in my opinion. And so I took that movie and watched a bunch of interviews of the actors just talking about their process, talking about sister bonds, talking about family dynamics, all of it. And that really helped me kind of, as myself as an actor, just kind of get into it, even though they're two completely different scripts. It just helps you get into the world of what you're trying to portray. And then with that, I just individually, with each film that I choose, I just journal and I write stuff and whatever I'm researching. I think for me, writing stuff, it just helps me engrave it in my brain for some reason. And I just love like drawing, maybe print like stickers or anything that has to do with that world and build a journal for myself. And in that same journal, I'll like stick my script inside of it. And so that journal is for that specific film that I'm doing at the moment. And I find that really helpful because once I'm on set, if I'm going over my lines or just reading the script or whatever, when I open the journal, it's the world that I built in it, and it just helps me kind of dive into it. Even though I already did the research and I know what's going on once I'm on set, it just helps me kind of remember everything that I looked for when it comes to researching about my character. And then I love also connecting music to my characters. You know, outside of film, I do love music, and so connecting songs to my characters and maybe making playlists, and if I can play them on set or maybe while I'm getting ready before I go to set, just again trying to dive myself into the world. But also I'm somebody as an actor that I don't think too much about what I'm going to do as the character before I'm on set. It's more like once you say action, something clicks and it's like, okay, here we go. And I don't overthink too much about what I'm going to do. I think it's more researching about who the person is. And then once I'm on set, I already know who I am. And then I can just play and kind of trust my choices, I guess, as an actor. So those two things. But I'm still trying to figure out different stuff that I can do, but journaling for sure and music.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think those are great ways, and yeah, because every actor, they have like different techniques and stuff. Like you hear stories about like people that are like method actors, like that really get into that
Yeah.
character, or like they're changing all their
Yeah.
daily lives and stuff like that.
Oh my God, no. I am not a method actor. I respect your process, but I don't think I could ever. I think something that also, like for me as an actor, I think after filming, forgetting about it, like forget about what just happened and just be yourself, do something else, and then the next day you'll come back and reassess or whatever. But I think it helps me a lot. I think also with just like being myself and having life experience as myself, I take a lot from life experience as well into my acting. So I think it's also important for me to be myself outside of acting too.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. So I guess the first project that I want to talk about is Scorpion Cocktail. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, yeah. Again, I saw it. Really great film.
It's been a while, like it's been a few years, but I always like to mention that film because it was my first experience on a set ever. That audition too was one of my first auditions ever. I remember finding the audition through Actors Access on my own and just going for it. And I remember I first saw the audition because it was self-submitted, it wasn't through an agent or anything. I saw it and I just ignored it because it was filming in LA and I was in Texas. I told my parents, oh, like I found this audition. I really liked the character and it looked really cool. And I looked up the director, Sak Abdulbaki, shout out to him. And like, it looks like a really cool project, but I didn't submit because it's filming in LA, so whatever. And my parents were like, what are you thinking? Just submit for it. Like, you don't even know if you're going to get it or not. Just submit. And if you get an audition, then you'll worry about it. And I'm like, okay, sure. And so I submitted, I got the audition. I think then I got a call back and then I booked it. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess now I have to go to LA. So I think also as a young actor, for me, like going to LA and doing the thing was also really exciting. It was just 1 day shoot, but it was like the best experience that I could have had as a beginner actor, not knowing what I was doing on a set. Because I knew what I was doing with, my acting choices and whatever, but I think nobody can prepare you what it is like to be on a set other than going and being on a set. And so I think I was just like learning from everybody and kind of with myself and, just trying to do my job. But everybody was so nice. It was also really cool to see Zach work as a director and kind of work with somebody that way for the first time. It was really cool. And so I really appreciate that experience, even though I'm in it for like 5 minutes. I think it's a really cool scene that I got to shoot and a really fun one. And I learned a lot. And I remember on that trip too, my dad came with me and we went to Warner Brothers to like a studio tour. And so that also just added on to the experience. Like, oh my God, I really want to do this. Like that was the time in my career where I was like, yeah, I'm really sure this is what I want to do. Like now that I've done it and I'm in it, I want to do it. And we even had the opportunity on the Warner Brothers tour to step foot on a soundstage. I had never been on a soundstage before. So just stepping in and like looking at the sets, it was just like the best. So I'm always talking about that experience because it's, I think, not many get to have, I guess, a cool experience like that for the first time as an actor.
Mm. Oh man, that is very wonderful to hear. Yeah,
Yeah.
going back to like, yeah, that support that you have from like your parents, like when they said that, oh, just send the audition, because again, you never know like if they'll say yes or if they'll say no, it's always good to like try.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in this case, it worked out for you because you did end up booking the role. And as you mentioned, also them taking you to LA and going on the Warner Brothers studio tour because I've been to LA and I think I've also been on that Warner
Yeah.
Brothers tour, so it's really great, seeing like the sound stages and there was like a Harry Potter section, so it was very
Yes.
yeah, it was really cool. And yeah, it's really great just to hear like that moment where it was like you finally told yourself that yeah, this is acting is what I want to do.
Honestly, like, shout out to my parents. I know they're listening to this, but like, how can you go through this industry without support? Like, in my opinion, it's my parents, and I'm really lucky that I have a lot of really close friends in my life that also support me. Not just my parents, but like my entire family. They've always been so supportive from day one. Like, me going to them with this crazy idea of like, I want to act. And it's like, oh, they never doubted it for a second. They're like, okay, what can we help you with? I'll take you to acting classes. My first acting classes, I didn't have a license yet, so my dad would drive me every Saturday, like 30 minutes just to go to acting class. And yeah, I don't think I could do this without their support, especially because I think it takes a lot from you in terms of like, well, sometimes you just don't trust yourself, or if you might feel stuck at times. Like sometimes when I'm not booking things, it just feels like, I might just give up now. Not really, but like like it's so frustrating in that way. And even with just little things like the Scorpion Cocktail audition, like just audition for it. Just they're very chill in that way. Like just go for it, and when you get there, you'll worry about it. And I'm like, okay. So it's really nice to hear that you also have support from your parents because we need it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And, just like talking with other people on this podcast, and hearing their stories, just continuing to hear like the support that they have, and yeah, it's really great that, you got that support from your parents and your friends. And I know one of your friends is Alexa Tovar, who I did have on the show.
Yes.
I did have on the show like a few months ago. Yeah, so
Alexa, I just saw her yesterday. We go to acting class together. That's where I met her. She's a really cool person. I always, when I see her act, when she's in class and it's her turn to act, I'm always eyes wide open, like notes ready, because I think she's so natural at what she does. So shout out to her. She's really, really talented, and it's really nice to have friends outside of the industry, but also having friends in the industry that understand what you're going through and kind of doing it together. So, yeah, shout out to her. She's nice. Really cool person.
yeah, she really is. I want to get back to like some of the other projects that you sent me. The other one was Mia Culpa. That was again also
Mea culpa, yes.
Mea Culpa, yes. And again, really great project.
Mea culpa was directed by Isa, who she lives in Monterrey, Mexico, where I grew up. And I remember maybe we met like once at a party when we were like 13 or something. We had a lot of like common friends, and so we followed each other on Instagram. She posted the casting for Maria, and I was like, oh, I think at this point I was starting to audition a lot more. So I would just audition for what I would see, just to try new things. And I asked her if I could audition, even though I was here in Texas, and she said yes. And I sent out my audition. I remember I had a friend, her name is Natalia. She lives in Mexico, but she was visiting me here. And so I remember going over my lines with her. She's very supportive as well. Shout out to her. I did my audition, got a call back, and then after that I booked it and I flew myself to Mexico. That was the first time that I got to play a lead in a movie, and it was the first time I got to immerse myself in a character that way, who also, by the way, is really different from who I am. Has really different values and views the world differently than myself. So it was really cool, but also really interesting as an actor to navigate a character in that way. And I loved it. It was a really cool filming experience. And then just getting to meet people on set that are, around the same age as you and that want to do the same thing as you, and feeling supported by everybody around you was really cool. It was like a 4-day shoot, I think. So that was my first time shooting something for, even though it's not that long, like now I see it and it's like, well, it's just 4 days. But before, to me, that was like, oh, we're doing the thing. Like it was my first time just feeling like it was the real thing and that I had a lot more responsibility as an actor. And when I think of mea culpa, I think of the outfits because we filmed in the summer. And one thing about Monterrey is that it's really hot in the summer. Maria is very religious, so she would use a lot of layers and just to cover herself up. And I was dying. Like it was horrible, but in the best way possible. Like I didn't care, It actually helped me really get into character, like being in her fits. And but yeah, those are for every project I think of like little different memories, and that's one of them. It's the heat and the outfits, and that I had a good time.
Yeah, no. Again, it was such a really great film, and yeah, it's just great to hear like
Thank
those
you.
little like behind the scenes like stories, So it's really great just to like hear
Yeah.
stuff like that, and I really do think you have such great range and talent as an actress. So I'm just really excited just to see like what the future holds for
Wow.
you, and yeah, I'm just
Thank
really
you.
happy.
That's so nice.
Yeah,
Thank
definitely.
you.
But yeah, I guess that does bring me into the Killer at 54. Again, really great
Hmm.
film, and just
Thank you.
what was that process like? The audition process and the being on set. How did that project come about?
The Killer at 54 was a really cool shooting experience. That audition, I remember a friend sent it to me through Instagram. Again, shot in Mexico. For some reason, I just have a lot of friends in Mexico that also are into filmmaking. Luckily, because they're all very talented and come from schools that have really great film programs. But I remember auditioning for it and then getting a call back and booking it. But the really cool thing about that experience was that the entire crew and cast, we drove like 2 hours away from where we were in Mexico and stayed in a cabin. Like the entire crew and cast, we stayed in the same cabin for like 4 or 5 days. The cast, so me and the other girls, we were sharing one room. The six of us and one bathroom, and so that was really cool. I think like it just really helped us like uh I guess connect and get to know each other pretty quickly. Having the crew just every single day being there and working because you're on set the entire time. So we would hear crew just working the entire time. And we would just be in our room getting ready to film. When we would get ready, we wouldn't be in the same room. We would have a lot of night shoots. That shoot was crazy as well. I think for every actor, and then for my character, like emotionally, it was really heavy, especially that ending scene. I mean, I won't spoil or anything, but it was really heavy and emotional. Filming that with the other actress, her name is Maria. Shout out to her. She's really great. But we were like at 4 a.m. filming that scene, and it was like the last day, and we were just very, very emotionally tired, but really into it as well. So it was really cool. And then that was my first time working with the director, Isa. I was really shocked by how talented she is. I remember reading the script and loving it. She wrote the script as well. The six of us, the actresses, we had an incredible time. We had so much fun filming it. Yeah, right after filming The Kira 54, I thought to myself, like, I really want to work with Isa again. Like, she is so talented. She I think something that really drives me about actors is watching them have a big passion about what they're doing. And you can just see it in her when she's directing, whether it's with the crew. She works a lot with her actors, which I love. As an actor, I really appreciate directors that, remember their actors, because I've had instances where or situations where the directors might be a lot more focused on the crew, and as actors we love to work with directors, at least for me. And I love the way that she talks to you, even if she likes what you did and there's no notes, she'll give you a thumbs up from far away, and I love that. Like, even those like little small things from her. And I knew, like, I really wanted to work again with her, but I never knew when that opportunity would come. And then 3 weeks ago, I got to work with her again. Also, the art, like production design, the whole, like, visually how it looks is so crazy. You go into the cabin for the first time, and it's very different from how they transformed it to the set that you get to see in the film, which was really crazy. But yeah, really cool filming experience. I think, if not the best filming experience that I've had, just because of the circumstances of all of us being together in a cabin, and just those vibes were really, really cool. And I loved the character that I got to play. No spoilers, but I loved what I had to do. It was really fun to get into that too. I also have to shout out all of the actresses that I worked with in the Crew of 54, because they're just so talented. Some of them, that was like their first time acting, which is insane to me. And they did a really good job. And I'm really excited to see where they all go as well. It's just really cool to work with really great people, whether they're other actors or crew.
Yeah, definitely. Everyone on that film did such a great job. Like the production design,
Yeah,
as you mentioned, looked really great, and the
crazy.
other actresses, they did such a great job. So,
Yes.
so I am excited just to see like when it gets released, because I know a lot of the films that we're talking about, some of them are in film festivals right now, and doing that. So like
Yeah.
when the time comes to like for it to be viewed to like the public, whether it's like on YouTube or whatever, wherever it may be, I'm
Yeah.
excited just to have other people see it, and just to see how crazy it was, like that
Me
film.
too. Me too. Yeah, I've done a lot of work that not many people have seen, most of it, because it's a lot of short films. And it's with short films, it's really hard to get them in the process of festivals and getting them released. Like, it's a whole different, I think, area of outside of feature films. I'm not in production at all, but like, from what I've seen, it's hard to release and have your short films out there. So what I've been doing recently is kind of just sending them out to my friends, just like I did to you, like sending out the projects and just being like, you know what, just watch it, let me know what you think. So, yeah, just starting to share my projects a little bit more with people in my life, I think is really special. And having people just watch your work, and again, it's not just my work, like, it's the work of so many people that worked on the project. So, that's also something that I want to share. But yeah.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. And I mean, there's like a whole process to it, and I've been fortunate enough to like go to some film festivals, here in Chicago and over in LA,
Cool.
so it's really great, just like that whole environment, and like seeing all the other filmmakers and seeing their work on like the big
Yeah,
screen, and just like being able to talk with some of them like afterwards, so it's just really great just to like we've mentioned before, like building that connection, with like other creatives, and just hearing like their stories, and just, hopefully, maybe working with them on future projects, or having them help you on your future projects, so it's just great, just, just to continue to develop those relationships, and sharing the work,
definitely.
is really great, just to see, how the film turns out, and how your acting performance is, and if that gets people like really excited, and they want to work with you, and then it's great, and then we're on to the next one, and so it's just really great just to
Exactly.
do that, and it's just, yeah. I though another film that I want to talk about was Nat, which I know we mentioned
Mm.
like short films, and I think that was like the shortest one that you did, and from what I understand, was that like done in like just a few hours or something like that? From
Yes, we did a 6 hour film competition. And so you would get there, like we would all, like all of the teams would unite somewhere. And randomly you would pick up some papers and it would give you a genre. It would give you like different, I don't remember exactly, but it would give you kind of the premise of what your short film has to be. And then after that, the timer starts. You go to wherever you're going to film. You have 6 hours to write because you can't prep beforehand because it's all very random on the spot. And so you have 6 hours to write and shoot and edit your film and send it out. And then after those 6 hours, you reunite, and that's the competition. And there's awards, and we get to see everybody's films. And that was a really cool and different experience. You don't know what you're going to do as an actor on the day because, again, it's all very random. And so it was cool to, and also I had never worked with the people that I worked with on that film before. And so it was really cool to like meet new people, but I had no idea how it was going to go. Like I had no idea if it was going to be what it was going to be. I don't know. It was really new and different. We already had like a location set, and we all went there and they started writing the script, which was really impressive, like how they could write a script in like under 30 minutes or like an hour. But a lot of it was also improv, which was nerve-wracking as an actor, but also really cool because, again, we wrote I didn't, but they wrote the script, kind of more of like an idea or an outline of what we were going to do. And then as actors, they told us, do whatever feels good, like improv, follow the script and what we wrote, but also feel free to just like, let's rehearse this scene and let's improv and let's fix it. And so after that rehearsal, we would improv and then we kind of set the script out. And that was really cool. But also the director immediately like trusting me with playing the AI or like robot type thing. It was really cool to do. And then we did end up getting runner-ups for best short film. We ended up winning best cinematography, which I agree. I think cinematography was really, really great in that film. I think I think it's the highlight of the short film. It makes it look really cool and kind of wary in like the environment of what we were trying to portray in the film.
hmm
It was fun.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, the acting
Yeah.
was really well
Thank
done.
you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. Yeah, especially like for myself, it's really hard to watch myself. I judge myself a lot, and I think, obviously it's very normal with actors. You hear this all the time where either they can watch themselves and not think anything, or they just hate it, and I've gotten better at it, but it's hard. So I think hearing other people, say that they like the work that I'm doing is very nice. So thank you. Just other people with different eyes getting to catch the work that I do is really cool. And like right now, I'm editing my new demo reel, like theatrical reel, just to submit to agents and stuff. I'm putting all of the clips of my different films together. And I'm just like, it's so I struggle so much to edit my reel because I have to choose for myself what's my best clip for each film. Like, oh, I think this highlights my best acting and this moment and this. So I have to rewatch myself over and over again and make those choices for myself, which is really hard. I was listening to an interview of some other actor, and I think she said, that she wishes she could trust her choices a little bit more. And I think it was Havana Rose Liu. I don't remember. I think it was her, but she says she wants to or is trying to trust her choices a little bit more. And so I'm trying to stick to that, and also like knowing that the people around me that I worked with, they're seeing it firsthand, and so if they didn't like something, they would have told me to change it. So yeah, just trusting myself a little bit more, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whatever can motivate us just to continue to do what we love, I think is just very essential. So I'm glad that we're able to, again, as I mentioned before, just do what we love. One of the other projects I want to mention, this is probably like my favorite one that you shared with me, Lo que dejamos atrás. I think I'm saying that correctly.
There you go. Yeah,
I
lo que
said,
dejamos atrás. Yes.
but
Yeah.
yeah, that was definitely that was such a good one because it's, it definitely did
Wow.
kind of hit home for me as well. Um, but
Mm.
yeah, I'm just curious to know like how that project came about.
You are not the first person that tells me that it touched them. Yeah, it's like a happy film, but I don't think it's. I think, it's at the end, it's pretty. I don't want to say sad, but I think it really has touched people in a different way. And even if you go to the Instagram for the short film, they recorded a lot of the reactions of people watching the film, and it's a bunch of people just crying. And I don't want to say it feels good to watch people cry, but knowing that the work that I am a part of touches people that way is like the best thing. I don't think I've had a project where it's touched so many people before. That's a big part of why I want to be an actor. Is when I was watching films when I was like 17, and kind of it being something that I found a lot of connection with and kind of connecting with in a hard time of my life where I had moved, and it was a new environment and new people from Mexico here to the US. Like, it was a huge transition. And so something that I found a lot of emotional connection with was watching movies. And so to me, it was like, if I can do this for other people, like these actors are doing it for me, or like these scripts and films are doing it for me, like that, I would love that, having stories that people can connect. And so having Lo que dejamos atrás, which in English is what we leave behind, I think it's just the best thing in the world. But yeah, it's a thesis film. The directors and the producer, they were studying at SCAD in Savannah, Georgia, which is the Savannah College of Art and Design, and it's one of the like top film schools in the world. And they were doing their MFA thesis, and this was it. And I remember a friend, she's also from Mexico. She sent me the audition. They posted it on Instagram. But because she's friends with one of the directors from the film, her name is Roberta Peña, and Roberta was studying in SCAD. And so from then, I sent out my tape. I had a callback, and then I got it. And I got to fly to Savannah, kind of like the Killer 54. I stayed at an Airbnb with the actor who plays Abuelito. His name is David Arturo. He was like the best companion I could have had in that film. Just like Abuelito, he was really just trying to make sure that I was always okay and safe and having a good time. And working with him was really amazing. He's such a really incredible actor, and you can definitely see it through the screen. He transformed himself completely. And yeah, we were there for maybe like a week shooting. I think we shot maybe for like 3 or 4 days, but I was there for longer. We had a lot of rehearsals as well. I love working with people that are in the same place as me, maybe around the same age, studying film and being really passionate about it. And that's all. Like, they treated me so well. Purvanshi, she's the creative producer, and Mateo Balda, he's the director as well. They all welcomed me with open arms, and I felt so loved and so safe. And I think that's the best thing you can ask as an actor, is to have the people around you treat you that way. Even after we ended filming, they took me around Savannah, drove me around, and we, got food, and they it was just like so. I think a big part of it is we were all like, most of the crew was Latino. And, I remember I would, sleep because I was in the Airbnb where we were shooting. We were shooting where I was staying. So it was like 5 a.m. and Mateo, like the director, he would have his like speaker in his hand, and he would just start playing like music at 5 a.m., like all of this like Latino music. And so that was my alarm every day. It was like Mateo's music. And it was the best. Like, you could feel the vibes on set. And so even what I was going with is like even after filming, you can just feel. I feel like between us, like Latinos, there's this like community feel, or like just this instant like connection, or like we're family, or like making sure that we're always together and okay and safe and always having fun. Like that was the type of environment on that film, and I loved it. And just recently, maybe like a month ago, I got to go to Savannah again, and they screened the film for the first time at the Lucas Theater. It was really cool because I got to see everybody again, and it was the first time that we watched, that at least I watched the short film with a big audience. Like the theater was pretty full, and it was mostly SCAD students or family from those students, so it was really cool to see other short films as well and getting to meet other people. So yeah, overall it was just like the best time. And then knowing that I was going to be able to have this short film, send it out to my grandparents was also always in my mind, because my grandparents live far away from me. Either they're in Mexico or Costa Rica. So it's like I really deeply connected to the story of this film and very close to home. And so, yeah, I can't wait for more people to watch it. And I think it's going to do really good in film festivals. I know they're in that run right now and trying to get it out there. So, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And yeah, I'm excited to see like where it goes, and I am excited for, more and more people to watch it, because again, it definitely hit home for me, and I'm sure it has with many, many other people that have had a chance to see it. So, yeah, it definitely was
Yeah.
really, really wonderful to see. And as we mentioned, or like a lot of the films that you've done, are very Latino based, and I'm sure a lot of the cast and crew that you
Hmm.
work with are all Latinos. And of course, being Mexican American myself, it's great just to see ourselves on the screen, whether it's in front of the camera or behind the camera. It's just really great just to know that we're out there and we want to continue to make films, like we want our voices to be heard. We want to share our stories, and I think that's just so great, just to have be
Yeah.
able to the chance to do that, and to have it be in a film festival and be seen by, you know, a bunch of people, and again, just seeing those reactions, and whether it makes them laugh or it makes them cry or makes them scared, like just getting that reaction from them, and again, just them clapping and telling you great job, it really does motivate us. And I love that as a director, but also like as an actor, like it fulfills us, and it wants us to create more. It gives us that motivation, whether it's from like people that have seen the film, or again, just the support we get from our family and from our friends. It's just really great.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Hmm.
yeah, I'm just excited to see like, the what the future holds for us, and just for any artist listening in, whether it doesn't have to even be film, whether it's like you're a painter or you're a writer, or
Hmm.
whatever art form that you're doing, like just know that there's something special waiting for you in the future. You just have to continue to just do what you love, and you'll definitely reach that positivity in the end. So I think that's just really, really great.
Yeah, and also I think the industry is changing so much in terms of, Latino stories, and it's growing. I think there's still a lot that can change, but it's definitely better than before. And so getting to be a part of that growth and change is the best. And I think as actors sometimes we have less control of the type of projects that we can or want to be a part of, especially right now that I still have a long way to go and have a lot of big dreams of where I want to be as an actor. And so right now I don't really have much control over the projects that I'm doing, but I think I've gotten very lucky that what I've booked incredible projects that like Lo que dejamos atrás, which is just like a really touching story with great production, great people, and such a great Latino story where it can touch a lot of people. Or even just working like the Cura 54, like being like a really good filming experience, or Julia, or any like Mea Culpa, like all of it, even if it's just me acting in Spanish, it's very different from when I act in English. But getting to go to Mexico and working in a Latino produced film, I think is something that I want to keep on doing, and working with people that come from places like myself, and keep on telling stories like that. Whether they're, like Lo que dejamos atrás is a lot more about the culture and, being Latino and the mix of speaking English and Spanish. And then some projects, you don't follow so much about the Latino culture, but I'm still, you're still working with people who are Latino, who grew up in Mexico, who grew up wherever, and you can feel it on the script, and even more on set. So I really just hope to keep on getting lucky in that way, and just whatever I audition for those projects to keep on being the way that they have been. I'm really grateful for that as an actor. I don't think many people get to have that experience of every project that I've done, it being just great sets, especially when it's non-union stuff, short films, It's very different from like being in high produced projects and them having money and like all of that. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just glad that you've had such great experiences on set. Again, I'm just excited to see what the future holds for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I do want to talk about, like, I know we've mentioned like all of these great films. I was just curious to know, like, what have been some other highlights so far as an actress?
I think right now the highlight that I can think of is the last film that I shot like 3 weeks ago, which was Julia, again directed by Isabela Ramirez. And I think that was a huge highlight for me in terms of myself as an actor, because I look back to, I have a video of me on my first acting class ever that we were talking about, that my dad would drive me like every Saturday when I was like 17, and I was really bad. And this is not me judging myself like I do right now, like, oh, I can watch my demo reel. No, like I look at that clip and I'm like, oh, I was really bad. Like I had no emotion. You can see it. I was trying to like just try to memorize my lines, and I was looking straight into the camera. And so it's really cool, I think, as a highlight to maybe compare my last project, Julia, to my first ever acting clip and see the growth that I've had as an actor. And yes, sometimes I can be hard on myself, but I can see how much I've grown as an actor, and I know that there's some talent there that I think I've, you can just see the progress that I've had, but that goes to show how many years it takes to be good at something. And I know that I'm still not the best actor, and I'm going to keep on training so that maybe in 5 years I can look back to maybe what I did 3 weeks ago in Julia and think that was good. And I think now I'm even better. I think highlighting that progress as an actor is very important. Trusting myself and trusting my choices. Also, I think all of the things that I've gotten to do as an actor is a highlight. I think sometimes for myself, I forget of everything that I've done because I have big dreams of where I want to be and what I want to do and the people that I want to work with. And those big dreams kind of blur everything that I've done in the past, which shouldn't. So it's always good to, like right now, talking about everything that I've done, I'm realizing it's good work, and I have to be proud of myself for that, and just keep on going and doing, I think, new things that can help me grow as an actor, the way that I've grown since, 17 years old to now. So I think that's like the biggest highlight.
What have kind of been some of those like struggles that you faced as an actress, and what have you done to sort of overcome those obstacles?
I think they always change. Like it's different. Obviously, we've talked about this. Number one is just trusting myself a little bit more, trusting my choices. But I think like it can go different ways. Right now, what I'm struggling with is trying not to feel so stuck where I am because, if you look at what I've done, they're really great projects, but it's short film, short film, short film. So I kind of want to get out there and do something different. And that's why I've been thinking a lot about relocating to LA. And the hardest thing that I'm struggling with right now is finding representation out there. The amount of emails that I've sent to LA reps and heard nothing is, and I'm not exaggerating, it's like hundreds. And a big part of it is I've gotten like responses, it's, you're not in LA. And I'm like, oh. So I think it's the struggle of knowing what to do as an actor, like when to make that big move, knowing if what you're doing is for sure the right thing, the struggle of staying creative in times of uncertainty with no job. Like right now, the last job that I did 3 weeks ago, that was it. And right now I'm not booked. I'm getting auditions and stuff, but now it's again to the period of let's see what's next and trying to stay creative while trying to book something again. And then also the hard thing that I'm really struggling with right now is being a non-union actor and turning SAG and joining the union. Like it's really hard to book a job that is union that will make an actor non-union, union. I don't know if that's making sense, but it's like a big business side to being an actor that I'm just starting to think of that I never thought of before. And it's like, yeah, it's not just you arrive to set and you're the character and you do your thing as an actor. It's also you're an actor and there's a lot of business stuff that you have to do, like contracts and DAs, joining the union. Like I think that's the hardest thing for me. I think right now, also being in Texas, the film industry, it's growing a lot. I'm getting really great auditions and stuff, but also a lot of the work, for example, like a lot of commercials I get are non-union. If it's the short films that I've been doing, they're not union. It's all non-union. But then also the struggle of when to join SAG, because I love all of the projects that I've done. Like I love all of the short films and all of the people that I've gotten to work with. And once you join the union, you cannot work non-union stuff. And so that would also be a hard transition. Like I love doing all of these films and working with all of these people that are so passionate about their work that are also just starting out. And I wouldn't want to give that up as well. So I don't know. I think right now it's just struggling with that uncertainty and like confusion of what to do now, because I feel secure as an actor and I know I have the talent and the experience now compared to before. So it's just like not knowing what's next, I think, but trying my best to figure it out, you know?
Yeah, I know. There's definitely like that uncertainty that we can face sometimes as actors or as artists, and because it's never like a clear road, especially in this industry. There's so many twists and turns, and yeah, there's like a whole like business side to film that that even I really have never thought of. I mean, I've always loved the creative process of it and just telling stories and stuff.
Again, like I'm really lucky that I have a lot of really close friends that are not in the industry and have no clue of what it is or whatever, but that are so supportive. And even like when I went to film Julia, I went to Mexico just a few extra days because all of my closest friends are there. I grew up there when I was very young, all the way to my teenage year. So that was very grounding in my life. And I have really close people here in Texas as well. But I think growing up with people, they've seen so much of who I am and they've seen me change and I've seen them change and we still choose to be friends after 10, 14 years. Like it's crazy how much time I've been friends with people and they always keep me really grounded. It's just like forgetting about, like I'll be in Mexico, I'll go and shoot, like you're the lead of the film and you're crying and then you're have whatever. And then my friend texts, let's go and get dinner. And then it's like, yeah. And it's over, like filming is over and now you're with your friends having dinner. And yeah, I will always appreciate, again, my family and I think also just having really great friendships in my life that, don't do the same thing as you, but still support you and trust you and watch and want to watch everything that I'm in, and they even trust my work more than I trust myself, which is just really inspirational to have around me. And even outside of the work, just having supportive people is the best.
I guess my next question would be, do you have like any future projects in the works right now, or what is it that you're currently doing to develop your career as an actress?
Yeah, well, right now, I guess what we talked about, waiting to see what the films that I've been shooting, where they go to. And after this, I have an audition. So right after we cut, I'm gonna go do my audition. um, so just stuff like that, like constantly trying to audition, looking for new work. But also, I take acting classes every week with Aixa. I think that also keeps me, obviously working and getting better, but also just a creative flow like I went yesterday. And some days it feels great. Like yesterday was a great day. I loved what I did as an actor, and then other days not so much, and I like that too because it just helps me. It's kind of like a sport. I I look at acting from like a, athletic point of view because I grew up in sports. I did jiu-jitsu and gymnastics, and I think having that kind of visual of like things take time and you have to train for many, many years. Like after training for 15 years jiu-jitsu, just this year I got my black belt. So I think that really goes to show how long things take, and I think that really helps me to just not really worry too much about if I'm booked or not. But yeah, going to class, connecting with people, and just keep on auditioning. And I think right now, not necessarily like a film project, but next big project is maybe considering moving to LA and building up my resume, building up my reel, and see what's next. Hopefully, you never know if you're gonna be booked tomorrow or if you're gonna be booked in 5 months or in a year. So we'll see. We'll see what's next. But right now, it's a moment of uncertainty in terms of a job, which I think is a good reminder for actors. Like actors aren't always booked, and that's okay.
Is there any last minute advice that you'd like to share to other actors or artists that are listening in? Any advice that you'd like to share?
I'm trying not to say what we always hear, which is like, it's hard, it takes time, like, just keep going. Um, I think something that really helped me, and I know some actors don't really care about this, but I do, and it's so simple: watch as many films as you can. And it's not just watching movies and shows, but something that I do is, for example, yesterday I watched Disclosure by Steven Spielberg. And so what I do is after I watch it, I'll go online and I'll watch interviews of the actors, of the director, whether it's like fun interviews, like late night or whatever, or like BuzzFeed, or even like more serious interviews like podcasts, or just them talking about the work of that specific film. I think it helps you learn so much, not just about them, but about the work and what type of work you want to be a part of as an actor, what type of characters you want to play, what type of people, like who you want to be working with. And then as you research, I also read a lot about like articles about the film and the filmmaking process. And it's not just the actors and the director. Like I try to find anything about the crew members. I like to go on IMDb and even like cast members if they were maybe like background actors or just like not featured actors but less in the movie, and also learn from them. Like anything that I can pull from watching a movie I will do. And that's how I wanted to act because of my love for film, and because that's the way I started, just researching people because I was so curious about the work. And that taught me a lot about who I want to work with and the type of projects that I want to be a part of. It doesn't matter if it's a really good movie or a bad movie. I'll always sit down with myself and watch really bad movies. And obviously that's a subjective opinion because it's art, but like, I don't care what I'm going to watch. I'm going to watch it. And if I don't like it, it's like, yeah, I didn't like this, and I'm still going to research about it because this goes to show like what I want to do and what I don't want to do. And as you listen to other actors talk about their work, you might pull from them. You might pull from their process and what they like to do. And then also something that I love is like even listening to casting directors talk, research about casting directors and listen to them talk. There's a lot of casting directors that do interviews and they talk about their casting process. You know, if I get an audition from a casting director, I'll immediately look them up and I'll look up what they like in their auditions and what they like from the people that they've booked. That's what you have to do. It's not just waiting around for an audition and sending it out and seeing if it works. Like for me, it's a lot about researching about the project and the people that are hopefully going to be around me. And that comes from watching movies, watch movies, have that knowledge. You know, you don't have to be this like big book of movies either. But I think for me, at least, if I'm going to be in this industry because I love film, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to watch a bunch of movies and research about it. So I think that's the best advice I could give. And also surrounding yourself with good creative people and keeping those relationships very genuine. Obviously, you want to stay connected with the people that you work with, but I think it has to be very genuine and just be friends with them instead of just making it feel like it's for business, because I don't think that is ever going to work. And at the end of the day, you are going to love working with friends. That's the environment that you want to be a part of. So I think that's my best advice.
Thank you for tuning in to the Troubled Artists podcast. Have a great day.